So listen, like I was saying, I don't think I think it's getting worse. I think when I get older, that I might start developing feelings. But I think if it wasn't for the fact that I believe in Jesus and I believe that there's a heaven and a hell, I think I could easily be a serial killer. I think I could. I think I would have no remorse about killing somebody, and the only thing that stops me is the fact that I believe in God. So if I was like you and I, didn't believe in anything, I think I would just be out there going nuts. I also think I'd be somebody really good in the mafia, but this is a wrestling podcast. It's not about me. And what makes this even more interesting is the fact that it's 5:00 in the morning, and these are the type of things I think about. So it's good to see you, man. It's been a long time. When is the last time we did a podcast?
First of all, I don't condone any of that.
No, I'm not saying I do it. I'm just saying that I'm so dead inside that I think I could do it if I didn't believe in God. But I believe in God, and that I believe there's heaven and hell, and that's what stops me from doing certain things like that.
All right. Well, the last time we did a podcast was the BrandSplit, and that was supposed to be a wrestling podcast.
It was supposed to be a wrestling podcast, but we went off brand just like this, right?
And you're not even a second into our new wrestling podcast.
Quincy's gonna be like, guys, hey, we gotta stay on brand. This isn't what it's all about.
Speaking of that, so welcome to the Flow Show. This is for the Love of Wrestling show. Eventually, we're gonna have Quincy, Baca, and me together. But we're I don't know, we're like leading into that, I guess. That's going to be like the super. That's going to be the wild card show. That's going to be the super show.
So let the people know what happened. We were texting each other at 4:00 in the morning because we're psychopaths, and we decided let's just knock out the podcast now.
Right. Because I figured, because you know what, I'll admit, like, watching NXT and AEW every Wednesday and then doing a podcast on it, especially when there's already a ton of news in the wrestling world right now, that it's like, we don't need to do all the homework. We could just do a podcast right now.
And we are good enough talkers that we could fill up the podcast time without having more content. We already have enough with everything that's been going on. So what do you think about the Becky Lynch situation? Do you think it's a work, number one? And number two, isn't that strange? That's where my brain goes. Like, this must be a work. She's crying on national television, and I was like, this is a work. This is a work. What are your views on Becky Lynch? Is it okay for unmarried women to have kids?
Well, I was going to bring this up. I know. This is a very interesting thing that I was thinking about. I was like, you know what? Like, Ronda Rousey left because she wanted to start a family, and now Becky's leaving and then I was like, you know what? Vince McMahon might just not invest in women anymore because like, if you're just going to get knocked out.
I think the Vince McMahon character in 2020 is amazing. Him allowing puppets to say this is good shit, and for him playing along with the joke when wrestlers bust in his office. I think Vinnie Mac is the man. I know people like you give him a hard time because he wants to keep his business going, and he doesn't believe in Bernie Sanders, but I'm a big Vinnie Mac fan. Honestly, I love Vince McMahon. I have multiple T-shirts. I have more Vince McMahon T-shirts than I do any other wrestler. I love Vince McMahon. I love the fact that he came from trailer park and now he's a billionaire. And if a few people have to catch the bonus so he can just keep his business going, that's just life,
This is exactly, I think, what this podcast needed.
This is what it's all about, man. I'm happy to see you. It's been a long time since we've been doing this. We've been doing the Young Baca Productions Podcast Network, talking to a lot of people in hip hop, talking to a lot of comedians, talking to just a lot of strange people. But I don't have that connection like I have with you. The fact that I text you at 4 a.m. and you were up and you were hanging at the quiche. How do you say it? What did you have in the back? The big African symbol?
This?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be my new setup. I got this at IKEA. It's
sweet. You just got some money to blow, huh? Is that your comfort? Just all jokes. That's your comforter, right? That's what you sleep with?
It's not big enough. It was only $8.
It's cool. So with the fact that we're both up at 4 a.m., we say, hey, let's knock out the podcast. I kick out the hooker, and here we are.
Yeah, so... Okay.
He seemed like a nice guy, but business is business,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Essentially, once I finish, you have to leave, buddy,
Buddy?
It's time to go.
So, I guess going back to the Becky Lynch thing, do you feel like there's anybody that's going to be able to fill the void of the Becky Lynch? Because no one's put as much stock into her as WWE has. Like, so do you feel like anybody else is going to be able to fill those shoes?
I don't think so. I think first of all, Charlotte Flair should be just a heel for the rest of her career, right? It
Mm-hmm.
seems so unnatural when she's a babyface.
Right.
I think she should be a heel. I think it's, Charlotte's dope, but she's not Becky Lynch. The Becky Lynch situation where she got that punch from Nia Jax and it really elevated her career.
Mm-hmm.
It really blew up, and she main evented. She was one of the first 3 women wrestlers to main event WrestleMania, which was amazing. It was a sloppy match, right?
Right.
It was a sloppy match.
It's kind of disappointing how sloppy it was.
Yeah, but there has to be a lot of pressure, and the crowd doesn't help out either, because they were so exhausted, which I understand. They've been there for 8 hours. They probably were at the arena 2 hours before doors opened.
Are you telling me the women's revolution or evolution has a certain amount of just willpower? Like if you can't stay awake for 8 hours of wrestling to be involved in the women's evolution, then the evolution shouldn't happen? Or
no, I think if it takes you 2 hours to get to the arena, you sit through WrestleMania for 8 hours, and then you don't pop when Becky Lynch wins, you might be a sexist. That's all I'm saying. But it was a sloppy match, but it is what it is. Things happen all the time. She's been killing it lately. I feel bad because I think that announcement could have gone down in history as one of the biggest pops if it was in front of a crowd.
Okay, so I have a question later on about pop, because and we can just transition to it now. Is Otis winning the Money in the Bank? I feel like he should hold on to the briefcase as long as they can, and just in case they could have a crowd at some point. Because
but they might not have that big of a crowd.
Because I heard that he might cash in on the tag titles, which I'm not a fan of. But
come on, that makes you stupid, right?
Right. So
if we take kayfabe aside, if you've been working your whole life to become a wrestler, everyone's goal is to become WWE champion, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to tell me that Otis cashes in on the tag championships? That has to be stupid. But
so I say he holds it for almost you could hold it for a year. So I say you hold it for as long as you can. If you do have a crowd within maybe about a year, you cash that in. The pop would be crazy.
The pop will be amazing. Dude, the pop for him to win must have been going off crazy in mom's basement, right? Because people, certain people have neck beards and of a certain size and that have AEW flags hanging outside the window.
Do you feel like he gives people like us hope when you got Mandy?
I send the Mandy and Otis kissing, that picture, I sent it to somebody that I'm talking to that I'm interested in. And I said, "This is destiny." And she said, "First of all, what the fuck is this?" and I said, "This is destiny. This is us. You're a supermodel. I'm this big, fat, nasty guy. And if Otis can do it, I can do it. And I think this is a sign from God that we're supposed to be together."
That's good.
But it's 4 a.m. and I'm by myself, so that's not working out too well, right?
We have all the free time in the world at 4 a.m. to do this podcast.
Yeah. What's going on with your situation? You're in a relationship, correct?
Yeah. Well, this has nothing to do
with
this isn't the brand.
I know. But I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I texted you, and I said, "How do you explain a work to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling?" How did you explain a work to somebody that you're seeing?
I don't know. I kind of just
because that is a strange thing, right?
Well, I guess I'd watch wrestling with my partner, and then and she'd be asking questions, and then I would explain these things as they go. Like I wouldn't just here's a terminology of wrestling, because then obviously we'd break up.
So because the video came across, and I said, "This is cool, but I think it's a work." And then this person said, "What's a work?" And it was tough for me to explain. Besides Otis, you might be the Otis of podcasting. You're this big guy, and you got this beautiful woman by your side, and she's watching wrestling with you. You're living a dream, dude. You might be able to start your own religion.
I got this Otis push. Yeah. I recently watched the movie miniseries on Waco on Netflix,
How is that?
and it's pretty good. But
It's pretty inspiring, right?
it's yeah, like you know how cults work, you know.
Amen. You must be a big fan of Otis, right? Are you happy about this push? Were you shocked when he won the Money in the Bank?
Yeah, I was actually because
I was extremely shocked.
I didn't think he would win.
But he didn't win, did he?
Yeah, I don't know. Like if we're going off the NFL rules, where you have to like have full possession of it, and if you're going to like the thing is, it is kind of consistent. If you go back to the John Morrison victory at WrestleMania,
Yeah, but that just started happening, right?
right? It's totally yeah. But last year also, or a couple years ago, Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank by just showing up halfway through the match. So there's no rules.
Big Daddy
Right?
Brock could do whatever he wants, but the way it's always been is whoever unhooks it, that's who wins, right? Whoever
Mhm.
unhooks the belt, the briefcase, whatever it is, that's the winner. And AJ Styles unhooked it and it dropped to Otis, correct? So shouldn't AJ be the winner?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care. I like the Otis one.
This is Otis, right?
But if Roman Reigns caught it,
Yeah, it would be pandemonium. If I like to call them the AEW fans, the guys that live in a mom's basement, things like that. If that wasn't Otis, they would have been tearing the internet up, correct?
I agree.
But it's still a guy. Dude, I'm shocked that it was Otis. I thought he was getting a lot of love by getting involved in the Mandy Love storyline, but him doing Money in the Bank, they must really believe in him.
So I heard Vince is a really big fan, and if we're gonna go deeper into the Otis thing, if they are gonna do the whole tag team title thing, then you basically do a Money in the Bank situation where you basically throw away this year's Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it because I'm assuming that they like the huge pop when you turn in the Money in the Bank, and you know what? Maybe they just don't want because if you think about it, Bray Wyatt is most likely going to take the title of Braun at some point. Do you really want Otis to cash in on Bray Wyatt, or do you really want someone to cash in on Drew McIntyre anytime soon? So, if you think about it, they probably just wanted to throw away this Money in the Bank and just say, yeah, just cash in on the tag titles. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope
I think that would be a waste.
I hope he holds it for a year, and then when they finally have, even if it's like an NXT size crowd,
yeah, that'd be awesome. There'll be a huge pop.
That's still gonna, he'll get a huge pop, especially like there's a champion on the ground or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear that clanking sound of their theme music. Tucker's coming down. Oh, you could also have a storyline where like Tucker thinks he should cash it on the tag titles.
Oh, that'd be great.
And Otis kind of keeps holding on to it.
Yeah,
just a little longer.
And then he does a point where he tells him, "This is our perfect time. Let's do it. Let's go cash in." And then Otis has to be like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna save this for myself." Have you seen the Photoshop picture of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in WrestleMania 2000 walking out of the ring?
No.
Stephanie has the women's championship. Triple H has the WWE championship. They photoshopped that for Mandy to be the one holding the women's championship, and they put Otis's face on Triple H's body, and it's one of the greatest things I think I've ever seen in the last 2 years. I like Otis. I don't know if I see Otis as a main offender, but
let me put this in perspective though. Even though I think it should happen with a crowd because that'd be the biggest pop, and he'd have the most support during that. During this quarantine, I feel like the WWE could do whatever the hell they want.
And they've been doing it, right? They've been making movies.
So, like, you could legitimately just have Otis be world champion for 2 to 3 weeks in the middle of this quarantine, and no one would even know.
Yeah.
So,
do you like those? So they've had to improvise since they don't have crowds. They've been doing more cinematic matches. Do you like that?
I do.
Did you enjoy the Firefly Funhouse?
That was probably the best.
That's the best. Top 3 WrestleMania moments of all time.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even call it necessarily like. Obviously, it wasn't like an AEW match, but
yeah, obviously, it's not an Orange Cassidy match. But I understand.
Orange Cassidy is probably my favorite wrestler right now.
But when does that get going? When does the Orange Cassidy? When does that get going? His whole thing. You can't make somebody like Orange Cassidy the AEW champion, correct?
No, but I think like you can, in a way, like keep him off TV, not off TV, but out of matches for a while. Just let him kind of be the valet for the best friends for a little bit, and then eventually you could kind of put him in a situation where there's the actual stakes on the line, and then I think the crowd could get behind him. Like obviously after that point, I think it might run its course. But like eventually you could build up to some kind of stakes though. Which speaking of stakes, Otis. I'm just kidding.
No, do you follow Otis on Instagram?
No, I don't. Is it good?
This guy's living a life, man. First of all, he lifts weights literally 24/7, and he has pounds of meat delivered to his house. So I'm not talking about a couple of steaks. I'm talking about pounds of meat delivered to his house.
Let me ask you this, Go. He's obviously really strong, but he doesn't look like he lifts weights all the time.
Yeah, right. He's one of those poor guys. It doesn't matter how much he lifts, he still has like a strange looking body, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my situation as well. It's a little frustrating, but we'll figure it out. He seems like the nicest guy alive, right?
So yeah, he does. And I was gonna say, speaking of someone maybe on Otis's level, I read this when I woke up at 4 a.m. Is Sami Zayn is vacating the Intercontinental title, the IC title. Who do you want to see be the next IC champion?
I think they've wasted. I think ever since Miz dropped the belt, the IC title has gone down the drain completely.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah,
so
Miz really brought prestige to the title, and I wouldn't compare Otis and Sami Zayn in the same breath because Otis seems like a generally nice guy that everyone enjoys being around. Mm-hmm. Everyone says that Sami Zayn in the locker room is the most annoying man on the planet.
I don't know.
Do you watch? Well, I'm on the inside, so I know these things. Do you watch? Do you listen to the? I don't think I've ever admitted this out loud. Do you listen to the Major Fig podcast? The podcast with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
That's probably where I stopped my wrestling fandom.
It's one of my favorite podcasts. It's one of my favorite podcasts. And once I get my money right, I'm gonna start a great WWE Fig collection.
Yeah.
They have these vlogs on YouTube, maybe 45 minutes long. They go to different comic shops looking for figs, or they go to like Comic-Con convention. I knocked all of them out in one day. And it's a strange thing when you're talking to somebody and you say, hey, I have a podcast channel. I would love to get you on. They say, what type of podcast do you listen to? I said, Dan, I listen to everything. You pull up your phone and you look, you say, yeah, I watch this. And then you scroll over the Fig podcast. You're like, this one doesn't. No, what's that podcast? That's a podcast about wrestling figures. That's a little tough to come back from. It's one of my favorite. I love Zack Ryder, man, and it's a shame that he got cut. And I feel bad for Kurt Hawkins. He has a 2-year-old daughter. He has another daughter on the way, and that has to be a scary situation to be in. Because it's not like you got cut a year ago where you could hit the indies and stack up. Now you're just at home.
That's true. I do feel Zack Ryder kind of has a little bit more of a path than Kurt Hawkins does. Like, he's either going to go back to AEW or, to be honest, like I'm pretty sure the WWE would welcome him back when they feel like they're in a little bit more secure situation.
Dude, the Kurt Hawkins losing streak thing was one of the greatest storylines the last 10 years.
And it just ended in a kickoff show match.
Yeah, but kickoff show match at WrestleMania.
Right, but it was like for tag titles, and I kind of wish that he'd had his one-on-one match against someone who's relevant at Mania, even if it was a kickoff match, and beat that person one-on-one.
That says a lot about WWE tag titles, right? The fact that you feel like you would rather just see him one-on-one against somebody else, as opposed to winning the tag titles with his legitimate best friend in his hometown. That says a lot about the tag champs.
I'm just saying what the Revival probably said. Or FTR.
FTR seems like they'll be awful to hang out with.
You think so?
I think so. They got a lot of screen time. They got a lot of storylines. They got the belts. They got a big fat check. What else do you want?
Okay. Let me put this in perspective. Is they have, honestly, in my opinion, the best NXT match maybe of all time against DIY. And then you go to the main roster, get hurt, and then the other person gets hurt, and then you try to come back and build some of that momentum again. And I can see from Vince McMahon's perspective, it's like, hey, you guys are injury prone. I'm going to wait a little bit on you. But at the same time, you can see Revival's annoyance that, like, when they finally do get some momentum, it's shaving each other's back.
Yeah, which was tough to watch. Yeah, I agree. What do you think the talk went between Becky Lynch and Vince McMahon? Right, there's been times where you were nervous to tell your mom something. Imagine how nervous Becky Lynch was to tell Vince McMahon that she's
I
pregnant.
feel like Vince McMahon was probably like, "Oh, congrats!" And but in his head, he's like, I'm gonna bury fucking Seth Rollins.
I don't know how to say this. It is Seth Rollins' kid, right?
Yeah.
But they confirmed that because nobody's talked about it except for wrestling fans.
It's gonna be a little CrossFit Jesus baby.
Right, that baby's gonna come out amazing. He's
Jack.
gonna have he's gonna come out Jack #1, right? Or Jack Ginger. That's an atheist. That's gonna be great. That's what this.
Imagine. Okay, I don't want us to go on the deep end on this.
No,
one.
let's do this. This is let's go.
Imagine being their baby and you had a chance to have like Seth Rollins' hair, but you end up getting
right.
You end up becoming a ginger.
You become a ginger. You look at these pictures and you say, "Mom, why? Look at his hair. His hair is amazing. This guy's just flowing down his back, and this poor kid has a ginger buzz cut, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when I'm president, all the gingers they're gonna be gone.
Come on,
they better
man.
figure it out. They better keep the fingers crossed.
No,
you can't say that about gingers. That was the best thing of all time. So why haven't they? Wouldn't you talk about it being Seth Rollins' kid? It's not like they want to keep it private because they wouldn't come out and say that she's pregnant if that's the case.
Well, it was on Raw when Rey Mysterio actually congratulates Seth Rollins.
I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, well, nobody watches Raw, so
it's a little tough. It's so hard to watch wrestling with no crowd.
We're doing a wrestling podcast, and I'm the loser for watching Raw.
Yeah, 100%. It's tough. It's tough with no crowd to watch the matches. It's really awkward.
My thing is, I feel like a lot of the matches, because there's not as many wrestlers there, are becoming too predictable.
Yeah, but you've been saying that for 10 years.
Yeah, but then you kind of get through it, and then eventually there's matches that are, but even the things you feel like they're building to, you're just like, man, I can see this coming from a mile away, and there's no crowd to pop when things happen, and
you don't realize how important the crowd is until there's no crowd, right? The Becky, again, with the Becky Lynch pop would have been amazing when she announces that she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that because everyone loves Becky Lynch. Second of all, because 75% of people in the audience never had sex before. So the fact that, hey, talk about people being injury prone and Finn saying, hey, I'm not going to invest in you anymore. I have to go back to the Becky Lynch conversation. It had to be a little awkward, right?
Right.
Vince McMahon says, dude, what the hell is going on?
First Ronda, now you. And it's.
Well, how about Ronda? Becky Lynch got pregnant before her.
Right, yeah, that's true.
That's a little jab, so she beats her again.
So this is my thing too, is going into all that is you hear stories that Vince McMahon, after like The Rock and Stone Cold and all that, is like he's trying to not like develop huge stars. He'd rather just develop the WWE brand and then have a star that kind of goes side to side with that. That's what kind of happened with John Cena. Now John Cena's in Hollywood.
I didn't hear that. So he's trying to, because he's mad about them leaving?
Not that he's mad about them leaving. This is more speculation that people are assuming that like the reason why they're not trying to develop young talent is because when young talent gets over to an extent with the mainstream media, that they eventually leave and they leave the WWE high and dry, you know? So like I could see his frustration is that he's like, you know, I'm going to invest in this Becky Lynch person. And not only that, within the last few weeks, there was rumors that she might go to Hollywood and do like the Marvel movies and all that.
Well, she has a role. She landed it.
And she's now pregnant.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, so that's 9 months plus more than that probably, plus she might decide that maybe making movies after being a mom is easier. Workload. We might not see Becky Lynch for 3 to 4 years.
I hate to step on your point, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be gone longer than 9 months, right? She's not going to pop out the kid and be like, all right, Ginger, you on your own.
That's what I mean. Like, and the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins might take some time off.
He seems like the type to be like, yo, I got a career to worry about, all right?
He's like,
Becky, you do your thing, but I got to...
Roman Reigns is going to be texting him like in the hospital, like, "Hey man, like, congrats."
Who do you want to see to be the Intercontinental Champion?
If I'm trying to stick to the brands,
the brand of the IC title, right?
Drew Gulak.
Yeah, IC title is supposed to be the second biggest singles title. That's saying a lot about that, man.
Because like even though Daniel Bryan could have it, so my first thought was Daniel Bryan, but then I was like, I feel like Daniel Bryan is more of like a WWE Universal Champion kind of guy.
Mhm.
So Drew Gulak having it would be something. I don't know. Like, there's no one really on Smack, and the thing is, it's going to end up on someone like Baron Corbin or something.
Yeah.
Like,
But Baron Corbin's a good heel.
he is a good heel. I just don't like that he gets like 25-minute matches at like pay-per-views, and he's always in the same storyline for 6 to 7 months at a time.
That's lazy writing, but that's not his fault too, right? He's just a company man and he does what he's asked to do.
Right, that's true. I'll give you that.
And he doesn't go off and get pregnant, so he has a little bit more respect in that. For like, you think she was thinking like, I love Becky Lynch. I love Becky Lynch. She's legitimately one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers. You think she was thinking about me when she was doing that? Like,
No.
she should have pushed him off and say, thinking about people like me. And it seems a little selfish.
She's 33. This is her window. Like, if she's ever going to do this,
Yeah, I agree. That has to be a tough situation. And it had to be a tough situation. All jokes aside, because obviously I'm joking about that. But all jokes aside, it has to be tough for her to, she's at the top of her career. She's one of the hottest wrestlers. She was on the cover of, I was going to say NBA 2K. She was on the cover of WWE 2K. She's one of the most marketed wrestlers. It had to be tough for her, a woman that's been working her whole life to get this position, to say, I'm going to step away for a year and a half to have this kid.
Let's put this in perspective, too.
That kid better appreciate it, right?
Well, let's put this in perspective. I was thinking about it. I was like, I think she probably did her WrestleMania match pregnant, and because if the baby's due in December, she must have gotten knocked up like journalism at its finest.
I didn't know they said that's due in December.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was about the same time, right?
Yeah.
She might not have known she was pregnant too.
Right. And if you think about it though, like, she's already developed herself as a star. So when she comes back, she's still gonna have.
Imagine the pop when she comes back.
So, and I really hope, I know they're gonna pull this off, but they're probably gonna do that whole like have her visiting with the baby or something to see Seth Rollins or something like that, or just
sitting in the front while Seth Rollins' job's out.
Yeah, so like, to be honest, she should wait to come back when she can come back.
Yeah.
And even if it's for like one match and then leave again. Like, the thing is, like, this isn't like a retirement, I feel like, but this is almost on that level. She's 33. She's having a kid, and you just can't like have a kid and then decide to just leave it at home for 360 days a year. Like,
I don't know about I don't agree. I think women can balance a work life and a personal life, but if you have views that say otherwise, that's on you.
This is a wrestling.
But I'm not saying she could do it both. But imagine a pop. Obviously 2021 is too early, but imagine a pop in 2021, the number 30 entry in the Women's Royal Rumble, and it's the man. Woo! And they have the end covered up, and it's the ma. Woo! I'll pop. I'll still be in the same studio apartment, but I'll be getting excited.
I would, yeah, I think so. Like, I agree with that. And I also think, like, she's already developed the buzz where when she does come back, it's going to be, like, it's not like she's going to be buried when she comes back, Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
So she's already established herself as, like, a star. It's just, like, a matter of trying to figure out, like, when she does come back, is it going to be full-time? Is it going to be part-time? Is Seth Rollins going to take time off? Like,
yeah.
He seems
like the type to be like, I got stuff to do.
Hey, I got this house show.
Yeah, exactly. he seems like the guy. I'm happy for him, man. It's awesome, and it must have been a really tough decision, like I said to you, because they had to be planning it, right? Because Becky Lynch seems like she's a smart woman. Right. They had to be planning it, right? Or whatever happens. I don't know how sex works, but I figure that people have to plan it out.
Yeah,
and good for
schedule it.
Yeah, it had to be a tough decision. She's on top of the world, but like you said, unfortunately, women have a small, safe window for when they have kids. People like me and you can pump them out at 50, but it's different.
So, any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
Sorry to hear about Bernie Sanders, man. I know that must have been tough for you.
Yeah, it was tough. I got a little sad about that.
Yeah, man. That's it. I'm excited to do this with you, dude.
Yeah,
I'm excited about Flo. I'm excited about me, you, Quincy, and hopefully we get some pop-ins from Doc Lesnar himself. Listen, have you listened to Doc Lesnar's Strong Style and Remix?
Yeah, it's really good.
It was one of my top 5 legitimate favorite songs. This woman I talked to, she says, "You say that about every song." I said, "It's my favorite song." I said, "Oh, it's my favorite." So I'm happy, man. This is great stuff.
This is like I don't know, DX reuniting.
This is DX reuniting Window 45 and having dad jokes.
Right.
Good stuff, man. You can follow me at Young Baca Productions. You gotta put your Instagram out there. I hate your Instagram game. You don't put any content out.
Yeah.
Your podcast, you have a responsibility to your fans.
Sure. So you can follow me at The Awkward Side Hug and at Brian Andrew _.
When do I get invited to the Awkward Side Hug?
You could get on.
All right, let me know when I'm there. Good talking to you, man.
Are you gonna be up in the middle of the day, or?
Listen, I'm honestly up all the time. All I do is drink coffee and Red Bull. I go swimming like 5 times a day because the pool is right outside my spot. I go down there. I go swimming. I see somebody grilling. And I say, "Oh, what are you doing over there?" They say, "I'm grilling. You want to play?" Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I do my thing, man. I'm pretty much a homeless guy at this point.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got a studio apartment.
Hey, listen, living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
Where you could walk into the bathroom, into the kitchen in one cut.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here.
All right, peace out.
Later.